Imagine a dimension where reality doesn't unfold in one single universe, but rather as an infinite web of branching possibilities. Each branching possibility is its own universe, just as real as all the others. You have now entered the sixth dimension, a place where every timeline that could ever exist is laid out, not sequentially, but simultaneously. In our daily lives, we are bound to one version of history, a single moment, a single choice, a single path forward. But in the sixth dimension, all other possible realities that diverge at each decision or cosmic event exist and are just as real as all the others, each of them stretching out into their own full universes. It's not just what happened, but every possible path that could have happened is happening right now, in a different universe, at the same time. To grasp the concept of the sixth dimension, imagine your own life. Right now, you are listening to these words and watching the video, but there are versions of you that chose differently. Perhaps you chose to watch a different video, perhaps you went for a walk instead, or maybe you live in a world where history itself unfolded differently, where certain empires never rose or humanity as we know it never came to be. In the sixth dimension, all of those versions exist together. A sixth dimensional being would not be tied to a single reality the way we are tied to ours. To them, the alternate histories of the universe would appear like paths in a forest, each just as easy to walk down as the next. The way such a being would perceive reality is unimaginable to us. Our minds work in a linear sequence, past, present, future. A sixth dimensional being would see all these realities, past, present, and future, as one interconnected whole. What we experience as time, a steady flow of seamless connected moments, would appear more like a vast landscape to them, every timeline stretched out in full display. A sixth dimensional being would not just see who you are now, in this version of reality, but they would see every version of you, in every reality given every possibility of you that could exist. They would see all of these versions of you all at once. The one thing that you couldn't do is to try and imagine what a six-dimensional being would look like in our three-dimensional universe. Just as a three-dimensional creature would be indescribable to a two-dimensional being, a sixth-dimensional entity would be beyond our ability to recognize. To the human eye, such beings might appear only as flickering shadows or strange spatial distortions, or perhaps even some kind of incomprehensible patterns of light and energy. They might slip past our senses entirely, leaving only traces of their existence in the form of coincidences we can't explain. They could be visions we can't account for, or what many would call the supernatural. The powers of a sixth-dimensional being would seem godlike. They could effortlessly step from one timeline into another, moving not just through space, but through every one of the possible realities at any given time. Imagine someone who could enter the version of history where an ancient war had a different outcome, or where you made a different decision yesterday, and bring you there with them. To us, it would look like reality itself had been rewritten, when in fact nothing was altered. They would simply have shifted into a universe where events already unfolded differently. The rules of cause and effect so rigid in our universe would appear flexible to them. To us, if something didn't happen, it's lost forever. To them, every what if is already real somewhere. They wouldn't just understand why things happened as they did in our reality. They would understand why they didn't happen in countless other worlds. Our universe would be just one timeline in an infinite tapestry they can already see in its entirety. Existing in the sixth dimension would not be like existing in ours. A human mind is built for linear thought, one moment to the next, experiencing infinite variations simultaneously would overwhelm us. But to a sixth-dimensional consciousness, it might be natural, the way breathing is natural to us. They wouldn't exist in a world of limits like ours, but in a reality without boundaries. For them, choice and chance wouldn't be separate, they'd both be real, unfolding together as part of an endless fabric of possibilities. Interactions with such beings would be impossible for us to comprehend. If one of these beings passed through our world, it could appear at any place, at any time, and then vanish again, without leaving a trace. What some people might call miracles, unexplained events, or even déjà vu, could simply be glimpses of their movement through the branching layers of reality. To them, the whole course of human history would be directly visible and accessible, all at once. Every civilization's rise, their fall, and every possible variation, visible to them with a single glance. Even the law of entropy, the drift toward disorder that governs our universe, wouldn't exist in the sixth dimension the way we know it. In that higher reality, nothing unravels or decays, because every variation of order and chaos already coexists at once. To a sixth-dimensional entity, entropy wouldn't be a law, but just another possibility among countless others. Scientifically, the sixth dimension remains a concept of mathematics and theoretical physics. It emerges from attempts to describe our universe in ways that extend beyond our three spatial dimensions and time. It reflects our struggle to understand whether reality is far stranger and more complex than we can perceive. Just as early humans could not conceive of electricity or black holes, we may be incapable of truly grasping higher dimensions. And yet, the possibility lingers that such dimensions are not imaginary, but woven into the fabric of existence, invisible only because our senses are too limited to detect them. If that is true, then the sixth dimension might already be here, layered around us, with beings that can move through it always a step beyond what we can perceive. To them, we would be as limited as shadows on a wall, only dimly aware of the greater structure casting us into being. The most haunting thought is not just that the sixth dimension exists, but that our universe is only one among infinite others. If beings inhabit that realm, they would see us not as unique, but as one version among countless others, a single thread in an endless cosmic weave. And if they ever reached out to touch us, we might never even know, only get a faint sense that something in reality itself has shifted, leaving us to wonder whether we may be losing our minds or unknowingly stepped into another reality altogether.